ਨਮਸਕਾਰ ਜੀ, ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਸਾਰੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ, ਭਾਰਤੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ-ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ। ਮੈਂ ਰਤਨ ਸ਼ਾਰਦਾ। ਅੱਜ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਅਲੱਗ ਪਰਸਨੈਲਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਰ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ 'ਚ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਦੇਖਿਆ, ਸੁਖੀ ਚਾਹਲ ਜੀ। Welcome everybody. This show is different in the sense that we have a person who works for Hindu security in USA, putting his own profession on the side. He's Mr. Sukhi Chahal, whom I haven't met yet, but whom I have seen on the social media. So I thought I should invite him for a talk. This talk is about Sikhs outside Bharat or closely linked to Bharat. So we'll have this talk just starting now. So welcome, Mr. Sukhi Chahal.
जी नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल सभी को।
Sukhi Chahal is a founder, CEO and chief editor of the Khalsa Today. He has been very active in Sikh issues in Bharat and USA. He has done a lot for scrapping the Sikh blacklist, getting passports and visa for persecuted Afghan Sikhs and families. He is an IT entrepreneur in San Francisco, doing very well, but then he turned his attention to social issues and now he puts more of time on the social issues. So welcome to Sukhi Chahal ji. Actually, when I planned, this particular discussion was to be about status of Sikhs in USA, about differences in the society, whether Hindu, Sikh or Khalistani, and those people who don't believe in Khalistani ideology. But something happened in the meanwhile. Last 2-3 days, very unfortunate thing happened that Sikh girls were picked up by Islamist jihadists. They were converted and they were to be married off to some Muslims in Kashmir Valley, where we talk of Kashmiriyat. That issue blew up in a big way. Akali Dal people went there. They started blowing up the issue. Then there were BJP people who went there. Finally, one of the girl was recovered and she was married off to a Sikh boy. This was what the story was. But the sad part was that it was highly politicized. There were people who said that it should not have been talked so much. The people who opposed Love Jihad and ridiculed Hindus for talking about Love Jihad Act started talking of having the same protection for Sikhs, which is very right. But they had opposed this. The same people who opposed CA for that gave asylum to Sikh persecuted minorities in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, along with others like Hindus and Buddha and Christians. They now realize the danger that they face. And most surprising part and most striking part was that the great great Muslim Sikh unifiers, the Khalistanis, none of their leaders spoke a word. As far as I know, I tried to go through a few of the so-called leaders of Khalistani forces in USA, Canada. None of them spoke. So what is their agenda? So it struck me so hard that I want to ask Sukhi ji that why is it that the so-called leaders of Sikh, so-called leaders of Khalistan just put Fevicol in their mouth when Sikh girls were abducted in Kashmir? Sukhi ji.
Ratanji, you asked a very, very valid question, because especially whatever the incident happened in Kashmir, in Srinagar, very, very unfortunate, very tragic, because it was very close to my heart. Because the last year in December, I was there for one week in Kashmir. I visited many various cities over there. I met 4 Gurdwara management committees in the valley, all the prominent leaders. So I was very familiar with the whole environment. I was in touch with them. And even at that time, I was told that there is a more than 15 or 16 incident like that already happened in past. Because right now we are talking, since last 3-4 days, actually we're talking only 2 girls. But there
Sukhi, could you tell me, you must have found out why this silence, this deadly silence, if this was the case last year, why nobody ever spoke about it?
That's a very interesting, sir. Actually, so the thing is, who is going to look after them? Actually, because although we always claim as a Sikh community, because we have done very well abroad, everywhere. Actually. So wherever any mishappening happen with any Sikh community anywhere in the world, we always raise our voice. But unfortunately, 99% of the Sikh community outside, so-called moderate, and they are very quiet because they have been shut down by this 1% population of so-called Khalistani or the radicals. Because these radicals, they are very powerful, they are very well funded, and they are very well financed, and they are dedicated. And this is the only thing they do. And on top of that, this is their full-time dukandari. So this is their business dukandari. So that's why they pretty much control, they dictate. So that's why, to answer your question, nobody from on this incident, such a horrible incident, nobody from the Khalistani movement have even issued a one statement. It's very sad, very unfortunate actually. So really sad. And on top of that, they did lots of like their Sikh leadership abroad. Actually, everybody, there's so many people they claim that we are the Sikh leader. No, none of them came forward,
So,
right?
Kiji, there was a tweet. There was a tweet by a very prominent person who ridiculed politicization of this issue, ridiculed the Kali leaders there, and also others. There was a tweet. I saw that tweet. So
Okay.
it was on the contrary on the other side.
Yes, but at the same time, so whatever the kind of like the help I was looking for actually, because whenever any incident happened in the Sikh community, and so I was expecting a lot more movement, because the same kind of incident happened. Because whenever this kind of incident happened, why any Islamic fundamentalist, any Islamic person, any Muslim person, to like any done injustice being done to any Sikh person, man or woman, male or female, these people they try to be quiet and they are silent on the issue, because not only before Kashmir there was a very important incident, very high, that got highlighted actually. So one of the girl of the Granthi Nankana Sahib Gurdwara, she
Yes.
was kidnapped, forcefully converted, and so it was a very big case. And so none of these people they dare to speak. On top of that, interesting thing, I live in California. 2 weeks back, actually, the governor of Punjab from Pakistan side, he was here and he was visiting, and he met so many Sikh people, like especially the prominent Sikh people over here in California. And I am 99% sure, and I try to ask so many people, nobody asked the question actually, what is happening to that girl? What is the current status of that girl? Nobody even tried to raise that like the genuine question from these people, like what is happening to the our girls, especially the Hindu and Sikh girls in the Pakistan, because they cannot because they know actually, because their sports system is based on the Pakistani deep state, because it is all actually, because whatever they do, it's a my bap actually. So they're sitting over there, whatever they do, and they have to listen to them, and they don't have a guts to say anything
But
against them.
Sukhiji, for a community known for its gallantry, never bending, never bowing to any authority,
Ji,
gurus, all respected gurus, fought their life to save dharma. They never bowed down. They were mercilessly killed by the same elements with whom these people are now having friendly relations.
ji,
So how deep is the connection with Pakistan? Because if you remember, during 1980s and 90s, they had the same support from the Pakistani elements. In fact, I saw a video. Sorry, it was in the clubhouse where
mhm,
one of the Sikh youth said that we would have got Khalistan in 1988-87 had Pakistan not backed out. So they
mhm,
very openly believe that Pakistan has gone that deep. I have done study of that time.
mhm.
So that was the grip of Pakistanis on these Khalistani elements much more at that time, or is it much more stronger now?
It was much more stronger at that time in Punjab actually, because I was a student. I was too young at that time. And even if you hear, or if you there is a book coming up actually, Blood for Blood by Terry Blasky, and he's a very prominent journalist from Canada, Ottawa based actually. So he did lots of reporting on the Khalistan, and so whatever he did in past, I interview him personally, and now he's writing the book, and so he displayed very well actually. So as the independent journalist, like what was the role of the Pakistan? Whatever the Pakistan damage has been done to the Punjab at that time in 1980 and 1990, when I was too young, I was in the college and the schools, we have been suffered so much. Not only the Sikh has been suffered, actually, for your information, Ratanji, you understand the Punjabi very well. and both Hindu and Sikh suffer together. And it was a tragic because of their suffering. Actually, there was so much suffering. Many people just moved on. People even don't want to talk about the Khalistan, and people don't want to even go back. Actually, take a look. Actually, what have, because these were the worst or dark days of the Punjab. Actually, so that's so-called Khalistan, and it was there was a last support from the Pakistan at that time. And now some of these people, those who has migrated to Canada or UK or or the USA, and they are less than 1%, but they have it. This is pretty much their dukandari. But 99% people, those who moved on and those who has been suffer and those who has seen the reality, they want to deal with it. So that's why there is no danger at this moment. There is no danger of Khalistan in Punjab anymore because I was in Punjab at least in last 6 months. I spent almost 2 months in Punjab. I met Sibranjit Singh Man actually, so who always talk about the Khalistan over there. And I do not see any kind of support of the Khalistan inside the Punjab, but there is a 1% population in the diaspora, and who this is their dukandari, and they will continue because this is a very big business for them. And also there is external forces actually. So you can say the Pakistan and all these people, and even the China or all these like whatever the anti-India forces actually. So they would love to support them actually. So it seems like that's what's happening over there.
No, but then that brings very interesting question that there are more people outside Bharat who are very well settled there. You know, happily very big farmers, very big technocrats, businessmen, whether Australia or Canada or USA, they have more interest in Khalistan in within India, and they are never going to return. Is 100% sure they are not waiting to return because they will find it's much better. They are settling there. They are calling their own relatives. Punjab is nearly getting vacated of the youth of Punjab because they find no future because of very poor governance there. Despite all, they are very interested. While people in Punjab who are trying to save Punjab or trying to save their youth from drugs and various other disappointing problems, and also that their unemployment, depleting resources, lowering production in the farms, all those issues. But people outside are more interested. So, what exactly is the agenda? It is purely Pakistani agenda, or these people, if you say they are their dukandari, if this dukandari, what do they get? Because they are well settled there. What are they going to get?
Ratanji, that's a very good question actually, because that's a kind of narrative has been built all over the world. Because the people outside actually, so whenever I used to go to Bharat and just to go outside US, people ask me the question actually, oh, there's a lot of support for the Khalistan in USA. That is a totally nonsense. That's ridiculous. That is a totally untrue. There is a not too much support for the Khalistan even within the USA, but there are some pockets, there are few elements actually, so they are dedicated actually, so they want to have, because what they have done actually, so they have been very successful capturing some of the gurudwaras, and prominent gurudwaras are under their control, and there's lots of funding coming actually from here and there. And also they try to, because since they have a control of the gurudwara and they have a control on the stage of the gurudwara, so they have a ready-made stage and also lots of donation coming, and they are misusing the donation of the hard-working Sikh people for their vested interest. So that's why their narrative, they have built the narrative, but they do not have it that much support on the ground. And as I'm saying again and again, there is a 99% of the community, those who are very hard worker, those who has done very well, they're very well settled. They have moved on because they don't want to deal the nonsense. They don't want to deal the nonsense of these people.
But Sukhiji, then why these strong majority of Sikhs speak up? I mean, what is the problem? Why can't they control the gurudwaras? Why they have to depend on these extremist elements? So, what is the secret of their winning the elections while the quiet majority keeps quiet?
Sir, they have a dedicated sport. They have a muscle power. They have a money power. And whatever they have done, actually, so there is certain fundamental issues you have to keep in mind. There are some of the genuine issues which they try to exploit it. So that's why they don't want to have a peace in Punjab. They don't want to have a these of the some of the issues resolved. You mentioned in the beginning, because I played very important role working with the Prime Minister Modi ji, because of like pruning the blacklist. Actually, that was a very big concern. More than 304 people were there. Actually, 302 people was removed from that list. then the like the passport was issued, and many good things will happen because they don't want to get all the issues resolved. Even like us now, you were saying actually the Kisan movement. I'll come back to that. They don't want to have that issue resolved because they want to have this kind of issue over there so that they can do their dukandari. Whatever happened in 1984 in Darbar Sahib over there happened. Whatever happened in the like kind of genocide of the Sikhs in Delhi, they are trying to exploit that one. So that while that issue will be there and their dukandari will be there, and also they are very dedicated, and so that's why from outside it looks like actually so they have so much support, but they don't actually, so
But
they are less than
then
1%.
that brings me to the next question, that this 84 was very unfortunate. Before that, there was 1947, when Hindus and Sikhs fought together, the attackers, the invaders, rapists, and plunderers of their properties in Pakistan. And the society was defended by Akalis and RSS people. They fought together, they saw to it that minimum damage, though it was huge damage, huge tragedy. After that, the biggest problem was 1984, which was perpetrated by a particular political party. It was not a Hindu society, because there are records and records of Hindu societies protecting Sikh brothers in their families, in their homes, and they had no political connection. These were very normal, ordinary Hindu Sikh families who had to survive. In fact, we have our own families where these people are saved. Despite this, a political riot, a political genocide has been converted to Hindu Sikh issue, and Sikhs are not known to create a persecution complex or victimhood complex. But this strange new phenomenon of creating a victimhood complex, and how do they forget what happened in 47? How do they forget that when Nankana Sahib was next door, it was not included in Indian borders? All these issues, there are hundreds of issues which we know when Sikhs were persecuted, killed in millions, and we talk about 84, which is a horrible, mark on our society. But at the same time, it was same Hindu society which protected everybody because we are one. So despite this, why this hate for Hindus has been created? Because Hindu Sikhs come from the same roots. So this hate being created, this persecution complex, and continuously targeting Hindus as if they are different from them. Because if you and I know very well, in our families, there are Sikh daughter-in-laws, there are Sikh daughters, there are marriages, intermarriages, which are considered nothing strange, and they happen regularly. Even just a few years back, I've gone to Punjab that my cousin's son got married with a Sikh family. It happens. My cousin which has married a Sikh family. My bhabhi is a Sikh. This is true of every family, not just my family. Despite this, how do they want to falsify history and claim that we are different Hindus? The hate is being created. What is the reason behind this creation of hate? Because it is not required. The creation of Khalistan has nothing to do with Hindu Sikh unity or Hindu Sikh same roots. You can have your political issues, you want a Khalistan, this, that. Because if you remember, even Khalistan issue was created because of the friction was created because Congress first did not agree to Punjabi language. Then it did not agree to Punjab state. The reorganization of the state started in 1950 to 53. But Punjab was given a status of state as a Punjabi Suba in 1966. So again, the game was played by Congress. Again, there was a friction, and again, this sense of hurt that is there in Sikh community is a working of the Congress party, not of the Hindu society. Despite this continuous creation of hate, what is the secret and what are we doing about it?
Sir, actually, Ratanji, actually, I think I should be interviewing you next time, actually, yes, on my channel, because the kind of understanding you have actually on this topic, right? It's like 1947, most of these people, they were not even born. They even don't want to know. They even don't want to know what happened to with their sisters and the mothers and the brothers actually. So in the genocide happened in the 1984, what suffering we went through. Now coming back to actually, so this is still not that far actually. So 1984, what happened in New Delhi or the other states in the surrounding area. So this is the tragedy actually because nobody is telling because the Congress it was the Congress government. It was the people done by all the killing, the innocent killing was done on behalf of the Congress government. And there's no doubt in my mind as a Sikh actually. So I am saying, and I will say, I'll say tomorrow too. Unfortunately, the media media is not telling the reality and not telling the story. And also some people from the Sikh community actually they don't want to know the story. They said government done or Hindu did it. And they want to put it in such a way that a Hindu killed Sikh at the time. But the reality is actually, as you know, most of the everybody knows now because it was done by one political party. And these people had been some of these people had been convicted. And in their one of the main parliament, Sajjan Kumar has already been put in the first time in the jail by the Modi government. And that was
Sukhji, they
one of the
don't
demand
even
we had raised.
Sukhji, they don't even they don't even acknowledge that for the first time in 30 years it was done because of the BJP Modi government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because nobody the tragedy is because Modi government has done very good job. At least there is so many things has been done good for the Sikh community. Unfortunately, they were not able to. They were not very good into communicating with the masses on the Sikh community. But the kind of narrative was built until now that Hindu killed the Sikhs over there. But the like I went to many of the forum. I went to many gurdwaras and I went to many big platform, and I was the one openly saying that no, we have to appreciate actually for the Hindu people, those who have given the protection to our girls at that time. Because while these people were killing, while the genocide of these people were happening in Delhi, while they have a voter suchi, they were marking the homes of the Sikhs. Actually, they are putting the tires in the Sikh young people. They were killing day and night for 3 or 4 days. At that time, there was many Hindu family actually. So those who took huge risk while giving the protection, while giving the shelter to the Sikh people, or especially the girls of the like, so that they are not being raped or they are not being killed. And nobody appreciate that one because they don't want to talk about it. And even the Khalistani and all these guys actually, so these nonsense guys actually, so they don't want to talk about it. Kind of narrative because the government was in power, Congress government was in power for so long, and the narrative was built in such a way that actually everybody believed that, oh yeah, so Sikhs were killed over there in Delhi in 1984. And most of the people, unfortunately, most of the people, those who are talking about these kind of issue in diaspora, they were not even born during that time. They even don't know actually. They some of the people actually they have not even visited Punjab actually. So in last 15-20 years, and many people talk about the Khalistan. And because I was there, I was in my college, and when the terrorism was finished in the like around 1993 in Punjab, and these people, some of these people were not even born, and they talk about the Khalistan today. They don't know how much sacrifice the people has done, and how we have hurt the whole Punjab, and how we have destroyed the whole Punjab. And they want to repeat it because for them, by sitting in the air conditioned rooms in Ottawa or in Toronto or Vancouver or San Francisco or New York, it does not hurt them because they are not going back. It is they are just doing their typical dukandari.
Just last question. That is I'm very curious to know. See, farmers' law was typically a economic issue. Whether you agree with farmer bill or not, or you like it or not, that is a different issue. You can oppose it. How did it got converted into a religious issue? How did Khalistanis abroad manage to create a fight into Sikh pride? This is a great achievement by Khalistanis, I would say. So how did it happen? Because they are not interested in farmer law, what is happening here. It has nothing to do with religion because India is too big. Punjab is just one of the states of which farmers, mostly Sikhs, are part of that particular country, a particular state. But there are every state where there is farming. 65% of the people are in farming. The farmer bill is for everybody. How did it suddenly become a Punjab issue? How did it suddenly become issue of pride and issue of Panth in danger? So how did they manage it?
Ratanji, for your information, if you go to my channel, The Khalsa Today, you will see I was the first NRI to interview Mr. Narendra, Shriman Narendra Tomarji, Agriculture Minister. At that time, this movement was happening. The Kisan movement was happening only within Punjab, actually. So they were blocking some railway lines or some railway platform and some of the roads. And I knew actually, so the kind of direction, because the kind of direction or it can go because the reason because I was sitting in the Silicon Valley, And I was monitoring the situation over there because what kind of strategy these people, especially the Khalistani, was coming up with. They were like, they are very good into exploiting the situation. They are very good into hijacking the any kind of agenda, anybody's agenda, because they do it every day over here. Because whenever any major function happen in even the Basaki function happen in Vancouver, there may be 100,000 people gonna show up. 100,000 people gonna show up, like the regular people gonna show up actually. So in Juba city, these 50 or 100 people of the Khalistani with the flag, they come over there and they give the message to the media and to the everybody that, oh, this is our function. All these 100,000 people came over just because of them. This is the same situation because they are very good into like how to exploit the situation. Because these people, the farmers, they came with the right intention because they had an issue and there was a concern actually. So like they want to have like they have a specific demand. But these Khalistani people, they saw it very good opportunity and they try to exploit it. And you know actually what happened in the Red Fort when they tried to put the flag over there, and also like a kind of like the violence they have done. I think a good thing actually because the government of India has done fantastic job actually. So by managing the situation at that time, otherwise that could have been another Jallianwala Bagh, right? And also at that time, I was in on the January 26th. I was in Washington D.C. I was back from India, and I posted the video over there. I criticized them, and many other people, even from the Sikh community, criticized them. But the thing is, this is their normal modus operandi. This did not happen first time, and they try their best to hijack the whole agenda. And unfortunately, because of the interference of all these Khalistani and all the non-farming community, the activists, so that's why all this farming movement going is not going anywhere actually. Because so that's why we are not coming to any solution because the government has done and the Kisan unions had done so many meetings. So that's why they are not able to resolve because there are just so many forces behind them. That issue has been totally hijacked.
But then, see, to conclude, I would say that need of the hour is for the Sikh community to assert that they don't belong to this, they don't have any interest in these few people who are creating trouble, sitting outside Bharat and creating unnecessary division within society in America or Australia or Canada or UK, and also trying to create trouble in India. And unless they assert themselves, unless they are vocal about it like you, this will create an impression world over that there is something wrong. So that is my feeling, and my feeling is also that more Hindu Sikh talk should happen openly, where they clearly show their what is their history, how close they are, because people here don't know. When I used to tell that I'm a Punjabi, somebody in Maharashtra where I stay, they would say, "आपने पगड़ी नहीं पहनी." They don't even know that Punjab में पगड़ी पहनने वाला बिना पगड़ी पहनने वाले दोनों है. So that is a level of ignorance. That is why I did a program a few days back on Sikh religion, Sikh Panth, and how the gurus, respected gurus, created the Sikhi Panth. So this is need of the hour that we educate people, we let people know, and I think in that Sikhs outside Bharat, outside various places, Punjab, they have as important a role to play as Sikhs within Bharat they have to play. So what is your view, and we'll conclude this.
Ratanji, you raised a very interesting question actually, because the thing is, many people even today, even within not only in India, all over the world, they think actually if you have a turban, you have a mustache and the beard, they think you are a Sikh. This is totally not true. Having the turban, having the beard does not make you a Sikh. To be a Sikh, first of all, you have to be a good human being. If you are not a good human being, does not matter how big turban, how round turban, or how big dadi you have, it does not make any sense. And also, there is a many people. If you go to, even if you go by the principle, take a look in the SGPC, what is happening inside there? I cannot even vote myself. The person, like, even if we have a turban, we cut our beard, they consider people like us as a Sahajari Sikh. We cannot even vote, we cannot even participate in the SGPC election. So that's why lack of education, lack of awareness, because you mentioned, because it is very important, because we have to tell our new generation we are inseparable. Hindus and the Sikhs actually kind of relationship we have, kind of a history we have. Who like where what is the history of our guru? Why they sacrificed? For whom? Why? All this history has to be retold because the kind of history which has been being told, even I have to read it I have to read my history again and again from the different sources because up to now the kind of history was told it was very inaccurate. So that's why awareness is very important. And 99% of the community and even the Hindu and Sikh community, they are having very good relationship. And people like me, we are outspoken, we are reaching out to the people, and this process should continue. And the people like you are doing a good job because I had a many some people. I told somebody at least so there, and this person Ratan Sharda want to interview Ratan Sharda, you want to interview me, and he says, Sukhiji, you must do it. Does not matter what is your ideology, what is your religious belonging. That's a separate story. So dialogue has to be there. So that was the true philosophy of the Sikhi. That was the philosophy of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Because Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to everybody. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to temples. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went to yogis. And that's what he did the dialogue. So that's why he met various people. Because until you have a open-minded, until you have a some kind of like, if you already coming with the conclusion, you will not be able to change it. So that's why you have to go open-minded. You have to discuss, you have to give, you have to have a kind of dialogue with the other person, and you have to listen to them. Then you have to try to convince them. Don't go with any conclusion. So you go with the facts. So that's why telling the rehistory to our new generation, having this kind of relationship does not matter because these people, all these fanatic, all these radical, all these Khalistani, they are trying their best not to have a dialogue between the Hindu and Sikh community. And I am trying my best and I will continue my best to have the relationship. Even tomorrow, if somebody, any Hindu organization, they invite me, I would love to go and I will be proud. I feel like I'm proud to be a Sikh, but at the same time, I cannot deny because we cannot be separated. Our relationship, our kind of history we have, kind of DNA we have, we cannot be separated. If you go to you like your background is from Punjab, you go to Hardwar, you go over 3 generations back, you will find out like maybe my four fathers, they were Todarmal or something like that. Because basically Sikh religion is not more than 500-year old, right? So that's where like where we came from. We did not came from the Islamic community. We did not came from the Christian community, and where we came from. So this is like that history has to be retold. That
True.
history has to be told properly. Education is very important. Awareness is very important. And this kind of event and this kind of seminar are very, very important, especially to educate our the new generation.
Yes, as you rightly pointed out, in fact, there was a tradition just a few years back that the eldest son would be given to gurus to serve the society. That is how Khalsa was built. That is how Khalsa Panth was built. And that is how the Khalsa army was built. So it is a protection of each other, protection of dharma, protection of society and the nation. That is what Sikhi stands for. That is what the unity stands for. I thank you very much, Sukhiji. It was wonderful talking to you. We need more people
Also,
like you.
Ratanji, last thing actually, I'll take like 1 minute more. And people should understand the history because the Khalsa Panth, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Khalsa Panth like was created, and who were the five pyaras actually? Because they have a
Yes,
very important. They all came from the different part of India, and they came from the different caste. They were speaking very different language, right? They were not they did not came from the Sikh family. They did not came from the Islam family, or they did not came from the Christianity. And so who they were and what language they were speaking, which part of India they came from. And so that's why that's the foundation of the Sikhi. Until we understand, read that history, why Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji sacrificed, for whom? He did not sacrifice for the Hindu people, actually, because that's the biggest misconception. As a Sikh, I'm saying he should be not only considered as a Hindi Chadar, because that is the icon for the human rights all over the world. We should celebrate actually. So even the Hindu people should celebrate him in his home, in his mandir, everywhere, because that's the kind of history we have that has to be told.
yes. So thank you very much, Sukhiji. It was very nice talking to you. As I said, more power to you, more voices like you. So we can save Bharat, we can save the communities, and we can save the unity. Thank you so much. We'll meet
Thank
again.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving the time and this kind of dialogue. We will do it in the near future too. Thank you.
Thank you.